Okay, so here we start. I've already made the format of the ledger here. Now look at the format carefully. In this case, we have two sides to an account. The left hand side is by default called as the debit side, and the right hand side is called the credit side. Okay, so we have a repetition of the format on both the sides. Date, particulars, journal folio, J.F is the notification or notation we're using for journal folio or page number, and the amount. And a similar set of columns on the right hand side for date, particulars, journal folio, and the amount. So although debit and credit is not written here, you should remember that by default, left hand side is the debit side and right hand side is the credit side. So in the ledger, each of the accounts that you find listed on the left hand side from 1 to 10, right, ये वो list of accounts है जो हमारे journal में appear करते हैं. So you can cross check for a moment if you want. Is there any account that we have left out from this list? जितने भी अकाउंट्स आपके जर्नल में लिखे हैं, right, whether they are debited or credited, it doesn't matter, but even if an account name has been mentioned even once in your journal, its ledger account will be prepared separately. Okay, so we're going to start with the first ledger account, which is cash account, and this is intentionally been picked because the maximum number of transactions involve cash. सो एज इट इज इसमें काफ़ी प्रैक्टिस हो जाती है प्रेपरेशन में भी. सेकेंडली, कैश का बैलेंस हम हमेशा जानने में इंटरेस्टेड होते हैं. ओके, सो सारे जितने भी अकाउंट्स हैं, वी वुड लाइक टू नो व्हाट आर द बैलेंसेस इन दीज अकाउंट्स. कैश, आई वुड लाइक टू नो कि कितना अमाउंट होना चाहिए कैश बॉक्स में एट द एंड ऑफ अप्रैल. Similarly, capital, anybody can ask how much is the proprietor's contribution to the business, and you should be able to pick up the capital account ledger and say, this is the amount that he has contributed. Okay, then the bank account, we have say account statements coming in from the bank. We have different kinds of passbooks and things like that. So we reconcile our own information with the bank's information to make sure that there is no missing entries either side. Then goods purchases, आपको पता होना चाहिए total purchases कितने हैं till date, and total sales is something which you want to know all the time. Then discount allowed, discount received. Okay, that gives you an important information. Then Krishna and Sham are people you are dealing with. Krishna was somebody you had I think sold goods to, and Sham was somebody from whom you had purchased goods. So debtors and creditors. Debtors वो लोग होते हैं, वो customers होते हैं आपके जो credit में सामान लेके जाते हैं. And creditors are those people from whom you buy on credit. They are your suppliers. So this debtors and creditors information should be available to every business because you have to schedule your payments and receipts accordingly. Okay, then rent and salary are also expenses or recurring expenses in a business. So whenever we want to even get a rough estimate of profitability, we need all these values. So because इन सभी accounts में multiple transactions होती हैं और repeatedly होती हैं, so it is not possible to keep a track of the total amounts in these accounts by looking at only the journal. So that is why we go in for what is known as the ledger or the second stage of accounting, where we post transactions into the ledger. Okay, so there's no choice between the journal and ledger. Journal is step number 1, and step number 2 is ledger. So for every account that was either debited or credited in the journal, there will be a separate ledger account. Here on the screen, I'm showing you two. First, the cash account, which we will learn to prepare, and then space for the capital account. Then third will be bank account, then goods purchases, goods sales. Similarly, we'll have all the 10 accounts being prepared on the ledger sheet. Okay, so let us start. I've already in the dates column written down April 2 or April 2002 on both the sides, so I don't need to repeat these later. Now I'm going to start with the cash account. So how are we going to record the transaction? I'll tell you the basic method. कैश अकाउंट में सिर्फ वही ट्रांजैक्शंस को रिकॉर्ड करेंगे जहां पर या तो कैश डेबिट हो रहा है या कैश क्रेडिट हो रहा है. ठीक है, सो ओनली दोज ट्रांजैक्शंस दैट इन्वॉल्व कैश will be recorded under the heading cash account. Number two, wherever cash is being debited, in whichever transaction cash is being debited, that transaction will be written on the left hand side or the debit side. Wherever cash is being credited, it will be written on the right hand side or the credit side. On the left hand side, we use the prefix to, and on the right hand side, we use the prefix by. Right? These are the standard, you can say, formats or methods of writing transactions in the ledger account. So if your journal is ready, ledger is relatively easy, but might seem confusing in the beginning. So please pay attention. Now we'll start with the first journal entry. Can one of you read it out, please?
Ma'am, read the entry or journal form?
You not the transaction, but the journal entry. Journal में से
Ma'am,
पढ़िए.
cash account,
Mhm.
the debit and two capital account.
Okay, so first journal entry reads as cash account debited to capital. ठीक है, so
Yes, ma'am.
अब हम ledger बना रहे हैं cash का. So because cash account is being debited in this transaction, this will be recorded in the cash account. ठीक है, number one. Number two, because cash debit हो रहा है तो हम इसको debit side पे लिखेंगे. So I write 1st of April 2002. On the left hand side, we use the prefix to, and here I will write the name of the account which is being credited. ठीक है, इससे हमारा रिकॉर्डिंग या री रिकॉर्डिंग कंप्लीट हो जाएगा बिकॉज I'm writing it on the left hand side of the cash account. That tells me that cash account was debited in this transaction. And I write the term to capital on the left hand side to show that the cash account was debited to capital for an amount equal to 10 lakh rupees. Is this clear? So जब जब कैश डेबिट होगा उन ट्रांजैक्शंस को हम लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे लिखेंगे. जहां जहां कैश क्रेडिट हो रहा है we'll be writing it on the right hand side of the cash account. And whichever transaction cash doesn't appear, those will not be recorded in the cash account of the ledger. Right? Should we start the next one then? Please read the next.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hanji.
Ma'am, we are only recording the cash account.
For the time being, we are preparing only the cash account. So पहले cash बनाएंगे, then we'll go on to the second, third, fourth and fifth accounts. ठीक है, ये जो लेफ्ट हैंड साइड ऑफ द स्क्रीन पे मैंने ये लिस्ट बनाई है, these are all the ledger accounts that we have to prepare. So once we are done with all the 10 accounts, you would realize that we have included every account in the ledger which was even debited once or credited once during the journal entries.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you.
ledger in that sense is always complete, but has to be done one by one. Right. Next transaction, please.
Bank account to cash account.
Bank account debited to cash account. So cash account इसमें भी appear कर रहा है, but इसमें cash credit हो रहा है. Okay. So on the 2nd of April, on the credit side of the cash account, we write by and name of the account which would have been debited in the journal entry. So by bank rupees 7 lakh. Okay. Who'll read the third one now?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Why aren't we writing AC in the particulars?
ओके, नाइस यू पॉइंटेड इट आउट. ऑल्दो इसका बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस उस तरह से नहीं होता है, बट वी शुड ऑलवेज फॉलो अ कंसिस्टेंट वे ऑफ राइटिंग इट डाउन. Okay, so A oblique C stands for account. So this is what I've written here.
Third entry is goods purchases account to cash.
Goods purchases account debited to cash, right? This is on the third.
Yes, ma'am.
So because cash is being credited, so we say buy and we say goods purchases account. Okay. What is the value? 50,000 tha?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Next transaction now.
Cash to bank.
Cash account debited to bank. This is on the 4th of April. So because cash account is being debited, so we write to bank. This was the withdrawal of money for office purposes. Next one.
Krishna's account to goods sales.
Krishna's account debited to goods or sales account. Now you would notice in this there is no cash, neither debit nor credit. Hence this transaction is not recorded in the cash account. Next one.
Goods purchases to Sham's account.
Goods purchases account debited to Sham's account. Again the same thing. Purchases and Sham, but no cash. So this also doesn't get recorded in the cash account. After this,
Cash account debited to Krishna.
cash account debited to Krishna. What is the date?
Ma'am, 13
Okay.
and 15,000 rupees.
13 cash account debited है, so debit side पे to Krishna or Krishna's account, and the amount is 15,000.
15,000.
उसके बाद क्या है नेक्स्ट जर्नल में?
Ma'am, it's not related to cash. Goods purchases debited to Sham, and after that, on 24th, it's cash account to Krishna.
On the 24th, it is cash account debited to Krishna's account. So
To
this
Krishna account, yes.
this was on the 24th and not the 13th.
No, ma'am, on 13th, it was Krishna account debited to goods. Yes,
Then
ma'am,
it's
it should be
24.
24.
या
Yes,
इट्स द
ma'am, it's
24th.
24.
ठीक है, जो दो ट्रांजैक्शंस क्रेडिट वाली थी वो उनका कैश में से कोई इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं था, सो दे वर नॉट टू बी रिकॉर्डेड इन द कैश अकाउंट. ओके, नाउ आफ्टर द 24th, व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन?
From Sham's account to cash and to discount received.
Okay, so this was a three account transaction. Sham's account debited to cash 2150 and to discount 1000 rupees. So in this case, Sham's account is the only debit account and there are two credit accounts. So because यहाँ पर हम सिर्फ कैश के लिए bothered हैं, इस transaction में cash is being credited. So we write it on the right hand side or the credit side and we say buy and we write the name of the debit account, which is Sham's account. Okay. Now in the amounts column, you will write down the actual amount of credit in the cash account that you have shown in the journal. So 21,500 is the amount that was credited to the cash account in the journal. So यहाँ पर भी आप 21,500 ही लिखेंगे. ठीक है, शाम की अकाउंट में डेबिट 22,500 का हुआ था, but the balance 1000 debit was through the discount account. So here you will only write the actual amount of money received or actual amount of money paid. Is this clear? Process will remain the same, but in these compound entries, you have to be careful which account to write in terms of the corresponding account and what amounts to record. So जो जिस भी अकाउंट का लेजर बना रहे हैं उसके सामने जो अमाउंट है वही आपको लिखना है यहां पर. ठीक है? After this, after the 28th, what transactions do we have?
From cash account to sales goods account.
Okay. Cash account debited to sales. What is the date?
On 30th.
30th of April to goods because cash account was being debited. So to goods account, which is sales or money coming in due to cash sales, 80,000. The next one,
Rent account debited to cash account.
rent account debited to cash account. So here because cash account is being credited, so we say buy and name of the debit account, buy rent account on the 30th. और इसमें अमाउंट था 5000.
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है. Now on the 30th again, buy. What is the next one? Last transaction.
Salary account to cash account.
Salary account debited to cash. So because cash credit हो रहा है, so on the credit side as buy salary account and the value is 10,000. Okay, so this finishes all the transactions we had in the journal, and we have picked out all of them which involved either debit of cash or credit of cash, and we have recorded them in the respective sides on the cash account. Okay, now the process after this is known as balancing the account. So in balancing the account, anybody has a doubt so far? Quick question? Any confusion? Okay, so we'll continue with the balancing. What you will do is Hanji Kriti?
Ma'am, what does JF and LF?
JF stands for journal folio, folio meaning a page. So जब हम actual business में ये transaction post करते हैं into the ledger, I would write down here कि journal के किस page में ये transaction लिखी हुई है. ठीक है. Similarly, जब मैं post कर रही हूँ into the ledger, I will also write down the page number of the ledger in the journal. Right? So that later on कोई भी confusion हो, कोई error detect हो, so there is a cross referencing available to us. So we know where we made an error or what was the actual entry and what got written at different stages. So this is primarily made to keep a check and balance on all the recordings that are taking place. Okay, so it's a matter of money. People are very particular about it, and also a small little error can cause a lot of confusion. So वो चीज avoid करने के लिए we have these journal folio and ledger folio in the journal and ledgers both. So journal में भी अगर आपने ledger folio नहीं लिखा है, that means that particular transaction has not been posted to the ledger as yet. ओके और जब आप पोस्ट कर देते हैं उसी के साथ में आप जर्नल में वो लेजर फोलियो कॉलम को कंप्लीट करते जाते हैं. किस पेज पे लिख रहे हैं, जैसे अगर हमारा पेज नंबर 1 इज फॉर कैश, देन पेज नंबर 2 विल बी फॉर कैपिटल, पेज नंबर 3 विल बी फॉर बैंक एंड सो ऑन. ओके, सो वो नंबर्स हम वहां पे लिखते जाएंगे जर्नल में कि लेजर के इस पेज पे ये अकाउंट हमने प्रिपेयर किया है. ओके,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
या यू वेलकम. चलिए, now we come to the next stage. We will total all the amounts on both the sides separately. ठीक है, so left hand side का total करते हैं पहले. 10 lakh plus 10,000 plus 15 plus 80. So this is 80 and 25, 1 lakh 5,000. So total of 11 lakh 5,000 is what we get on the left hand side. I'm writing these here itself. जहाँ पे आपने बनाया उसमें please rough में लिखिएगा, not in the account. Now on the right hand side, we'll do the same. 7 lakh 50,000, 7 lakh 71,500, 7 lakh 76,500, and 7 lakh 86,500. 7 lakh 86,500. These are the values on the left and the right hand side. ठीक है, कैश अकाउंट विल ऑलवेज हैव अ डेबिट बैलेंस because the left hand side or the debit side shows receipts and the right hand side or the credit side shows payments. So cash ऐसी चीज है जिसमें आपने receipt से ज्यादा payment करना possible नहीं है. So that is why debit side, the cash will always be either a zero balance or a debit balance. It's not possible to have a credit balance in the cash account. Okay. Now we have to find, once we've totaled the two sides separately, we'll calculate the difference in the two sides. So I'm using the Excel sheet to make the calculation. I take my cursor to one of the cells and I start with is equal to 11 lakh 5,000 minus 7 lakh 86,000. Sorry, 7 lakh 86,500. So I get the answer in the cell, and when I click on the cell in the formula bar at the top, I can see the values written. What have I calculated? Okay. So 3,18,500 is the difference in the two sides. The left hand side is more and the right hand side is less by 3,18,500. So जब हमने दोनों साइड्स को टोटल करके उसका डिफरेंस कैलकुलेट कर लिया, उस डिफरेंस को अब मैं ये टोटल्स रब ऑफ कर रही हूँ. Now I'm going to write down on the last day of the month, जब भी मैं बैलेंसिंग कर रही हूँ, by balance carried down, C oblique D, by balance carried down 3,18,500. This I will always write the difference of the two sides into the lighter side. Right? Once I've done this, what am I going to do? I'm going to retotal the right hand side. Okay. For some reason, there is some cross formula or something on the sheet. This is not working. Let me just copy these values. So I've copied the values on the right hand side. I don't know. Maybe some format or some issue, I don't know. ठीक है, so अब इसको हम कैसे चेक करेंगे? Is equal to 7,86,500 था हमारा राइट हैंड साइड पे, प्लस 3,18,500. 3,18,500 gives us 11 lakh 5,000 on the right hand side, which is the same as what we had on the left hand side. So this is known as balancing the account. अब दोनों को एक ही लाइन में on the left and right hand side we write the same amounts. Left hand side तो पहले ही वैसे था, इतना अमाउंट था, और राइट हैंड साइड में हमने बैलेंस एंट्री के बाद दोनों को इक्वल कर दिया, और इक्वल तो उसको होना ही था because we said we are going to write down on the lighter side the difference in the two columns. So अगर हम difference को lighter side पे लिखेंगे so automatically वो equal हो जाएगा to the higher side. So this process is known as balancing the account, and this has been devised so that जब हम बैलेंस कैलकुलेट करते हैं किसी भी अकाउंट में, दिस प्रोसेस एक्ट्स एज अ क्रॉस चेक. सो जब मैंने 3,18,500 कैलकुलेट किया, हाउ डू आई नो दिस इज द एक्चुअल डिफरेंस और दिस इज एन एक्यूरेट डिफरेंस? I will put it on the lighter side and retotal that side. And if it comes equal to the left hand side, it means my calculation of balance was correct. Is this clear with everyone?
Ma'am, can you please explain the meaning of CD again? By balance CD.
Carried down. This means that this value 3,18,500 is the only one we are going to carry to the month of May. बाकी जो 11,05,000 के नीचे हमने एक डबल लाइन ड्रॉ कर दी है, इफ यू नोटिस, इस डबल लाइन के ऊपर जितनी भी वैल्यूज हैं अब उनको फर्दर प्रोसेस नहीं करेंगे. दे विल नॉट बी एडेड टू ऑल द ट्रांजैक्शंस दैट विल हैपन इन मे. We will only consider those transactions which are given below the double line, not above the ones above the double line. So 11,05,000 तक जो भी कैलकुलेशन होनी थी बस वहीं पे स्टॉप हो गई. What we are going to carry forward from April is whatever amount of cash is left over with us. ठीक है, हमने मंथ शुरू किया था 10 लाख से, 7 लाख उसमें हमने बैंक में डिपॉजिट कर दिए. फिर हमें बैंक में से 10,000 मिला बाय विड्रॉल. देन वी गॉट 15,000 फ्रॉम कृष्णा. देन वी गॉट अनदर 80,000 ऑन द सेल ऑफ गुड्स. एंड इन द मीन टाइम we also kept making different payments. 50,000 for purchases, 21,500 to Sham, 5,000 for rent, 10,000 for salary. So इस सब के बाद हमारे पास कितना कैश होना चाहिए in the cash box is what the balance indicates. Now, balance in this case is written on the credit side. That means it is a debit balance. किसी भी अकाउंट का वो बैलेंस होता है जो साइड बड़ी होती है. सो कैश अकाउंट में डेबिट साइड वाज बिगर, सो कैश अकाउंट हैज अ डेबिट बैलेंस. If in any account the credit side is bigger, then that is the kind of balance the account has. Okay? So on the 1st of May, we will write, because it's a debit balance, so we'll use the prefix to and we'll say to balance brought down. Carried down, and this is brought down. And here I will record 3,18,500. Okay, so we are starting the month of May with a cash balance of 3,18,500. Now, during the month of May, there will be some receipts of cash on the left hand side, some payments of cash on the right hand side, and again the same balancing process will be followed at the end of May. Is this clear? The
Yes,
process,
ma'am.
the
Thank you, ma'am.
process of balancing and what kind of balance an account has. इसमें हमेशा कंफ्यूजन होता है बिकॉज बैलेंस को हम ऑपोजिट साइड पे लिखते हैं. जिस अकाउंट का डेबिट बैलेंस होता है वो लिखा जाता है क्रेडिट साइड पे, और जिस अकाउंट का क्रेडिट बैलेंस होता है वो बैलेंस एंट्री होती है लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे. सो इस चीज के लिए प्लीज ध्यान रखिए कि टोटल करने के बाद अकाउंट में जो साइड हैवियर होती है दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ बैलेंस दैट अकाउंट हैज. Okay, now let us do the same process for the next account, which is capital account. Now quickly go through the journal and see how many transactions does the capital account have. पहले से ही मार्क करके रखते हैं so that we don't have to read it again and again.
One.
Right? There is only one journal entry involving the capital account. Hence, capital के ledger में भी एक ही entry होगी for the month of April. ठीक है? Which is that entry?
Cash to capital. Cash.
Okay, April 2002. right? 1st April 2002. On both sides I've written. Now the journal entry is cash account debited to capital. अब हम बना रहे हैं कैपिटल का लेजर अकाउंट. सो इस ट्रांजैक्शन में कैपिटल डेबिट हो रहा है या क्रेडिट?
क्रेडिट.
कैश अकाउंट डेबिट हो रहा है और कैपिटल अकाउंट क्रेडिट हो रहा है. सो यहां पर हम इंटरेस्टेड हैं कैपिटल अकाउंट में. सो बिकॉज कैपिटल अकाउंट इज बीइंग क्रेडिटेड, hence this transaction gets recorded on the credit side of the capital account as by the name of the debit account, that is cash account. So by cash account 10 lakh rupees, right? So this is the only transaction in the capital account in the whole month of April. So on the 30th of April, what will we do? I'll go here and I'll change the date to 30th. This is when I'm going to be making the balancing entry. अब हमने पूरा month of April खत्म कर दिया, कोई और transaction नहीं है. Now I need to calculate the balance. Now there is no calculation involved here because there is only one transaction in the right hand side. So right hand side is 10 lakh, left hand side is 0. What is the difference in the two? 10 lakh. So we will write to balance 10 lakh. Okay, to balance carried down 10 lakh. Is this clear with everyone? Now because it's already equal on both the sides, हम यहीं पर double line draw कर देंगे. ठीक है? So this finishes our accounting for capital in the month of April. Now what type of balance does this account have? Debit or credit?
This is credit balance.
This is a credit balance. So on the 1st of May, we'll say by balance brought down 10, 100,000. ठीक है? अब मई का मंथ हम शुरू कर रहे हैं with 10 lakh of balance. So जो भी addition या deletion capital account में से होना है, that will happen in the month of April. Because in the month of May, there is nothing to be done in April. So जो April का 10 है, उसके नीचे हमने डबल लाइन ड्रॉ कर दिए. अब जो भी प्लस माइनस होगा वो मई वाले 10th में होगा. तो पहले वाले को हम कंसिडर नहीं करेंगे. सो दिस इज ट्रू फॉर ऑल दी अकाउंट्स. जैसे ही आपने डबल लाइन ड्रॉ कर दी, उसके ऊपर वाले जितनी भी वैल्यूज हैं, दे विल नाउ नॉट बी इंक्लूडेड इन एनी मैथमेटिकल ऑपरेशन. इज दिस क्लियर विद एवरीवन?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Now let us repeat the process by making the bank account. So I'll leave one line in the middle and I'll merge this. And I'll write down here bank account. ओके. अब यहां पर हम बैंक अकाउंट की ट्रांजैक्शंस लिखेंगे. ये हम कॉपी पेस्ट कर लेते हैं फिर से. नाउ दिस इज समथिंग यू गोइंग टू डू ऑन योर ओन एंड यू आर गोइंग टू टेल मी द बैलेंस इन द बैंक अकाउंट इन द नेक्स्ट 10 मिनट्स. सबके पास जर्नल है. प्रोसेस हमने अभी किया है दो अकाउंट्स के साथ. द सेम थिंग हैज टू बी रिपीटेड नाउ फॉर बैंक अकाउंट. जस्ट डू इट केयरफुली, दैट्स ऑल दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड. Let's see who does it first of all and does it accurately.
Debit balance of 6,90,000.
Okay, debit balance of 6,90,000. We have the first value here. Anybody else who's completed? So the first journal entry was cash account to capital. Then the second one was bank account to cash, right? So bank account debited to cash account, and the amount was seven, sorry, 7 lakh. Then after that, bought goods for cash, withdrew cash from bank for office use. So this was the next one. So I'll write buy cash 10,000. Then what else? Withdrew for sold to Krishna on credit, received discount, cash, rent. So these are the only two entries in the bank account. One, receipt of 7 lakh rupees from cash, and payment of 10,000 rupees or withdrawal by the proprietor. So, right, Vritti, it has what kind of balance?
Debit balance of
डेबिट
6
बैलेंस,
lakh 90.
यहाँ भी टोटलिंग
Debit
की कोई
balance.
जरूरत नहीं है. लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे 7 लाख है, राइट हैंड साइड पे 10,000 है. सो वी से बाय बैलेंस कैरी डाउन 6,90,000, right? And here,
First May we will brought down.
yeah, 7 lakh on the left hand side and 7 lakh on the right hand side. Now we draw a double line underneath this. And on the 1st of May, to balance brought down 6,90,000. Okay. So this is how the rest of these accounts have to be prepared in the ledger one by one. इसमें सीक्वेंस मैटर नहीं करती है कि आपने कौन सा अकाउंट पहले बनाया और बाद में, बट यू मस्ट do the recording properly and then the balancing of the accounts. Okay. Now, once you've done this, you can also do a little. Okay, let me not confuse you. Abhi yahin tak kariye. Just complete the ledger till the next class. So I have the next class with you on Saturday. No, our next class is now on Tuesday. ठीक है? So Tuesday tak, please make sure everybody has completed these 10 accounts in the ledger. Right? So we will do another question of practice for both journal and ledger, and then we'll move on to the third stage. Is this clear with everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Just give me a minute to check whether I've gotten a record of your attendance, and then you people can start leaving. Right, I have your attendance. So you people can leave. Thank you. Shimol, this was your first class? Not here? Simol, was this your first class?